as Sergeant Mark Horsley assumed the guise of a vulnerable person in a wheelchair. His objective was to apprehend a violent thief and initiate the process of quelling street crime. However, what the seasoned Vancouver police officer uncovered was nothing short of astonishing. In the past 2 years, Vancouver witnessed a wave of brutal attacks on vulnerable wheelchair users, with 28 incidents, including knife-point robberies and assaults with baseball bats, occurring in an 18-month period. These assaults were widespread, with 60 taking place in the impoverished downtown east side, known for its escalating crime rate. The overwhelmed police force struggled to find a solution until Sergeant Mark Horsley, the central figure in our tale, conceived a brilliant plan that would change everything. While he never anticipated the extent of his success, both he and the entire police force were astonished by the results of his strategy. But before delving into the action, let's provide some background on Mr. Horsley and his illustrious 40-year career as a Vancouver police officer. Understanding his story is crucial to comprehending his remarkable achievements. Born and raised in Vancouver, Mark Horsley had everything a cop needed to succeed. Instinct, intelligence, strength, humility, and leadership skills in the city's police department knew it. From the moment he joined the department, Horsley became indispensable to his colleagues and superiors. His unwavering commitment to every task, coupled with his exceptional camaraderie and warmth, made him someone people naturally gravitated towards. He garnered equal parts love and admiration from everyone, propelling his career to the point where he became the youngest police sergeant in Vancouver's department at the tender age of 28. On a personal note, Mark's story is no less remarkable, yet equally captivating. He grew up in a small immigrant family. His mother was of African-American descent and his father, a U.S. native, hailed from Italian immigrants who arrived in the country during the 1940s in search of work. His parents were the proprietors of a modest printing press in a humble Vancouver neighborhood. While never affluent by any means, they possessed all they needed to provide their only child with a healthy and content upbringing. Mark's upbringing instilled in him the true essence of humility and industriousness. His parents taught him that when one aspires to something in life, they should not merely wait for results but work tirelessly until they achieve their goals. They imparted the wisdom that dreams can indeed materialize, but only through unwavering dedication, devoid of complaints and excuses. These lessons shaped Mark's formative years, melding him into an outstanding young man who excelled in every facet of his life. Mark possessed the potential to pursue any path he chose, yet he remained resolute in his calling. He yearned to be a police officer, safeguarding others day in and day out. "I want to be a policeman, Nom. I know you'd have liked me to be a lawyer or doctor or to study any other career where I could have a better salary, but this is my dream. Being a policeman is what I want most," he told his mother a few days before finishing high school and having to decide his future would be. "Honey, you could never disappoint us. It doesn't matter what you choose to be as long as it's your decision. Don't let others' expectations sway you. Money isn't the most vital thing in life, Mark. Your father and I have shown you this by working diligently Monday through Saturday to provide for ourselves and find contentment. We have you a home and the gift of life. What more could anyone require? To me, being a good person is the greatest gift you can offer to others. Concentrate on that, and I'm confident you'll become an exceptional police officer," his mother lovingly assured him. Just as his mother had foreseen, Mark not only graduated at the top of his class from the Vancouver Police Academy, but also swiftly ascended to become the most outstanding officer on the force. This brings us to the present day, where Mark grappled with one of the most severe crime waves since he had completed his police training. His city, particularly its most vulnerable residents, found themselves defenseless and exposed to the pervasive menace lurking on the streets. If we do not intervene and make it clear who's in charge in the city we love so much will cease to be a safe place even for us. And the thieves will not be afraid to act at any time of day because they will have the certainty that nothing will happen to them. "We must act soon," said Marvin Scott, the captain of the crime fighting unit, in which Horsley also served. "Scott is right, but I believe that to get results, we have to do something they don't expect. The thieves now are not like they used to be. They've evolved, they know how we operate and know our protocols by heart. The best way to give them a warning is from the inside without them realizing that we're there," proposed Mark to his team, thinking of a way to carry out his ideas. Everyone nodded in agreement, but no one could formulate a plan that met the sergeant's criteria. That day, they couldn't reach a conclusion, so they decided to take a break, hoping that a viable plan would emerge the next day for immediate implementation. That very night, after hours of contemplation, Horsley conceived an undercover mission. His proposal was to assume the role of a wheelchair-bound individual with a severe brain injury living alone in the neighborhood. Additionally, Mark would carry bait, a stash of loose change designed to attract potential robbers. This strategy aimed to increase their odds of dismantling the mugging ring and putting an end to attacks against wheelchair users, particularly in the downtown east side, which had borne the brunt of these assaults over the past year. The following morning, when Horsley presented the plan to his team, the squad captain voiced his concerns. "Are you certain about this, Mark? There's a real risk and intervention may be challenging." Although the team concurred with the plan, they fretted for his safety. "Trust me, I know what I'm doing. If things go awry, I'll shoulder full responsibility, but I'm confident this mission will provide the answers we urgently seek. These people need us, and we won't let them down," Horsley declared resolutely to his team. In truth, Mark was correct. The mission would be arduous and intricate, but it would ultimately yield the solution they sought, albeit in a manner quite different from their initial expectations. A week later, Horsley began the mission and posed as a terminally ill man in a wheelchair called Karn. While undercover, he wore a small camera hidden in his clothing that would record everything that happened around him and a microphone that kept him in communication with his team. It was the only condition his team placed on him to allow him to carry out the plan and infiltrate the neighborhood, as it was too risky to do so blindly. The sergeant dedicated more time to the downtown east side than he initially anticipated, hoping to apprehend one of the assailants. Much to his and his team's astonishment, he never succeeded in catching a single robber during his mission. Nonetheless, he unearthed something far more significant, a vital clue for their next steps. While undercover in the impoverished areas, Horsley was struck by the overwhelming compassion and kindness of the neighborhood's residents. They embraced him as one of their own, offering support and making his life easier. This starkly contradicted the rumors he had heard about the neighborhood. Fortunately, Mark had his camera with him at all times, enabling him to document the authentic reality of life on those humble streets. After returning home from the first mission, he and his team decided to go public with what Horsley was able to record, and they did so through the official Vancouver Police YouTube account. The video quickly went viral, racking up more than 600,000 views and thousands of comments within a week. Through it, Horsley showed the whole truth about one of the city's most notorious neighborhoods, showing how people went out of their way to help him, not hurt him. The uptake was so quick that it blew me away. "I'm an experienced undercover operator. I've been working on similar missions for many years, and I've never been accepted into a role so quickly. It was really exciting," Horsley commented to the local news channel that interviewed him following the success of the YouTube video. Horsley also explained that the Vancouver PD released the footage as a strategy to prevent future crime. Their action strategy was based on awareness, hoping that seeing the overwhelming level of support their undercover officer received from the community, people would think twice before victimizing the most vulnerable. And they succeeded. In the video footage, Sergeant Horsley pretended he couldn't count, couldn't read, and asked others to buy things from the store with his money or to give him change. And every time he needed it, people would give him back the correct change or even some more than they owed him. It was really touching. We had people who needed money, people who were sick with drug addiction, people who were desperate, but they didn't stoop so low as to mug or rob me. And I think that says something about the human condition," he said. "I think people are good and they want to be good," explained the sergeant emotionally. Later, the sergeant also confessed that, thanks to his mission, the police now have a much more realistic idea of the level of protection in the community and what the real risks are in the area. Through their undercover mission, Horsley and his team now know that robbers will always seek to carry out their attacks on vulnerable people when no one is looking or in very secluded areas, never in broad daylight or in the more central areas where he had infiltrated and knew the neighbors were protecting themselves. While the operation did not lead to a direct arrest of any thieves, Horsley said that what he learned during those weeks greatly helped police in Vancouver and elsewhere across the country to know how to deal with such crimes and what steps to take to ensure the safety of the most vulnerable people in a community. "I came to realize that the responsibility of safeguarding vulnerable individuals doesn't rest solely with the police. It's a communal ethos. It's the entire community keeping a vigilant eye out for one another. Our collective strength lies in unity, not in working in isolation with communication gaps. I hold dear the memories of the people I encountered during my mission," Sergeant Horsley confessed, his voice filled with emotion. In the present day, the incidents of muggings and assaults against vulnerable individuals have seen a significant decline, thanks to the collaboration between Vancouver's residents and its police force. Hearing Sergeant Horsley's story has instilled a sense of unity and confidence among those in vulnerable neighborhoods, empowering them with the knowledge to safeguard their own. Mark Horsley not only rescued his city and imparted the value of unity, but also absorbed a life-altering lesson that will forever reshape his perspective on the world around him. Did this heartwarming and unexpected tale resonate with you? If it did, we welcome you to share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Thank you.